Yes, yes, we live, we live.
Yes,
Waiting for the
indeed.
people, waiting for the people, zero viewers. We a little bit early.
It's all good.
I'm gonna check on the. Yep. They say we live. Say we got two watching. We got Trevin in the house. We got Trevin in the house.
What's up,
What up,
Trev?
bro? What up, bro? If you can send any, links, would be much appreciated. I'm gonna let the people come on in. There go Animeasy in the house. What up? What up?
Peace.
Yep. Yeah. We let the people go in. I got a couple things for y'all. Cha Cha in the house. What up? What up? Come on in. Come on in. We've been working very hard, and we got some things to show you. So I figured I'd just wait right now so people come in before I show you. We got an intro for you. We got commercials. We got production. You know what I mean? We did all this for y'all, so I want everybody to be able to see it. So, I'm just waiting for a couple people to come on in, but I appreciate y'all support.
I'll see y'all in the house. See y'all in the house. It's all good. Appreciate
Facts.
y'all coming out.
Miss Angie, hello, hello. Thank you for your support. Glad you're here.
Joanne.
You know, couple up. Here we come. We starting to roll in. We starting to roll in. Hold on, let me get her. Gotcha. Thank you, Miss Dottie. You're now a moderator. Miss Karen, how you doing? We
Miss
almost got enough.
Karen J.
Yeah, a couple more. I'm about to show you this production we got. We've been working. We've
Miss
been
Karen
working.
J. One third of the KKK, huh?
you know,
Yes, indeed.
shoot, we getting there. We getting there. All right, I'm about to hit this production right quick. So you're gonna see what we've been working on. But I appreciate y'all greatly. Thank you very much. And let us know what you feeling.
Come on in, come on in. Like, share, subscribe. We gon' speak on it today. You dig? Speak on it, you know where you at. It's when knowledge flow free, so sit down and relax. I say, speak on it, you know what it is. And if you're coming fugazi, then it is what it is. I said, speak on it, you know where you at. It's when knowledge flow free, so sit down and relax. I said, speak on it, you know what it is. If you're coming fugazi, then it is what it is.
Come on in. Yes. I would like to welcome each and every one of you to Speak On It, a show about opinions. Now, basically, this show is about black unity. This channel right here, we're going to have several sectors, but this channel is about black unity and empowerment. So what we're going to do, we're going to do it in a funny way, though, a fun way. I don't want to be sitting here teaching y'all and y'all be bored. So what we're going to do is we gonna have drinks, we gonna smoke, and we gonna talk our shit like we at the barbershop. God damn it! So JoJo, lift your glass up, and anybody else who got a glass,
Y'all
please
know what
drink
we
with
do.
us. Please drink with us.
Y'all know what we do.
All right.
This on the house.
Yep. 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 All right. So once again, we're gonna have Women's Wednesdays, where we have Kevin Samuel's best friend over there, Mr. High Value himself, talking to these single ladies. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have Keep Speaking, where we speak on current events and any other thing. We're gonna invite people to come in and hear your opinion. And this channel right here, when we talk, when we get on our subject, I want to hear your opinion, because I'm not right just because I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? You're not right because you telling me. He's not right because he's telling you. I want to see you in your chat, your opinion, because the point of this whole thing is to get the conversation started. So let me dive in. Now, black women, I love you, but I gotta keep it real. You are the downfall of the black community right now. But yet, you are still the key to save the black community. But let me explain why. We need family structure. Without family structure, we can't raise our kids. Without family structure, we have no moral and values. So the beginning of the family structure starts with culture. Culture is something when we lost. We lost when we came from Africa. They stripped it from us. They robbed us. Now, we cannot blame the black woman for not having respect for a man, because there's a simple thing called DNA. Did y'all know? I did the research, so you don't have to. You're welcome. Did you know that DNA contains memories from your ancestor? So imagine if you had the DNA of being raped, abused, beaten, and a man did nothing. How could you respect a man in your family structure? How could you do anything to be subservient or under this man when you have memories inside your DNA of him doing nothing to help you? Would you like to expound on that, JoJo?
Well, it's interesting you brought that up because in order to try to correct those problems, it has to be identified. And I said that once before. You can't fix a problem when you don't know what the problem is. And I think a lot of people have a tendency to try to overlook what they're going through versus to find out, diagnose the problem, come with some kind of solution. And mental health is one of the key problems that I think we go through, because that is something deeply intrinsically wrong with the culture as a whole. I hear people speak about black culture all the time without even knowing how to identify it. What is black culture? I mean, Rome just spoke on how this is mentally in our DNA. Well, not so mentally in our DNA, but in our DNA molecular structure. But we don't want to take the time to figure out how to alleviate this problem, not so much alleviate it, but diagnose it and fix it.
So let me tell you this. If you're a woman making a whole bunch of money and you got the bag, you still need a man. If you choose to partake in the life of being a homosexual, and you want to be a man in that role, you want to be a stud, you still need a man. If you think that niggas ain't shit and you got this and you out here partying and you a strong chick, you still need a man. And the reason why you need a man, I know several chicks, and this is called anecdotal evidence. You know what anecdotal evidence is when you tell a story about something that happened that you seen alone, but it's not an actual fact. You know what I mean? So when a woman gets up there and say, I raised my kids and, they went to college and they did good, you could do all of that. And you don't need a man for that. But what you need a man for is to teach that man how to be a man, because you ain't never been a man. You can't teach a man to be a man. You know what I'm talking about? So, at this point, you got an emotional man. When a woman can't pay their bills, what happened? They scream and yell. You know what I mean? That kid is watching you. So when that kid is watching you, what he gonna do when he can't pay the bills? He gonna scream and yell. A man is more logical. Now, this is not a competition between what's better, a man and woman. So please don't take it there. We talking about basic family structure. We taking it take two to raise a child. You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to tell you is we do not need emotional men coming out here, because what happened is when a man gets something happening to him that he don't like, what he do? He act emotionally, erratically. He shoots, he steals, he robs, he kills. That's an emotional man. You need to think logical. You need to be fact-based. You need to be on some, I need to fix it. I need to take care of my family, And how's a woman going to teach that? What you think about that, JoJo?
Yeah, but because here again, it's going to come down to solutions. I mean, knowing that and knowing that is the situation. So you have identified that, but there's a lot of people that hasn't. See, it's no use to coming up and giving a problem if you don't have solutions. So we got to have some solutions out here, and identification is the one thing I think we're lacking in. We could come back and we could say anything that's probably, as you spoke, far as bothering us, and it's an ailment to the whole community collectively. But if we don't have solutions, I mean, you through booking. So it's no use of coming up and diagnosing the problem unless you have solutions behind it. And you just spoke on a whole lot of things, but it is no use even speaking on it if you don't have no solution to go behind it and back.
Facts. This
It's
is
like
my.
going to a
Sorry, bro.
doctor
Go
and
ahead.
being diagnosed, and you leave up out of the office because you don't want to treat. How does that work?
Right. This is my solution. I did research, so you don't have to. You're welcome. We gonna start off with culture in the motherland. We gonna know how we did this shit before we came to this motherfucking country and got hit with Western culture. The first thing that we did is everybody. If you were around the same age and you came from the same ancestors, god damn it, guess what? Them is your brothers and sisters. There's nothing on the continent but mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters. That means there's no cousins, there's no uncles, there's no nieces, there's no nephew. Everybody is brother and sister. And you know what's crazy about that is you don't got that much love for your cousins. Some people love their cousins, but if something was to happen, you'd be like, man, I don't know. You didn't used to steal my stuff when I was little, but if we was all brothers and sisters, I bet we'd be, pulling it together. We be about to die, ride or die for everybody. So that's one thing that Western culture has taken from us. I mean, we've been indoctrinated into somebody else's ways and customs, and we don't know our own ways and customs. So that's first and foremost one of the worst things. What you think?
Well, when you bring that up, here again, you're going to have these solutions because I agree with you 110%. But when we talking to these people, because I know it's probably be some distractors here that don't agree with what you're saying. So because I'm not looking at the chat, and it could be genetic, the way they feel and what's going on inside of them, passed down through the great ancestors as we speak of, and it's real complex, but it's yet simple.
Right.
You have to diagnose these problems. You have to, because we just running in circles. We're just gonna be going in circles.
Well, here's a little another ditty for you. Did you know that in most of our cultures, and once again, let me break this down because I gotta be clear. Africa is a continent, and it's filled with several different countries. So I am no way means or saying that every country in Africa did this, but a lot of them did. And I'm just trying to tell you some of our customs so maybe we can understand where we came from. Now, we got polygamy. Now, I know y'all like, oh, hell no, we ain't doing no polygamy. I don't need a whole bunch of chicks up in here, trying to be all up on my man. But we ain't do it for that. It was not for sexual purposes. Now we got a lot of conscious brothers in the conscious community today that want to have 5 and 6 wives, and we got a lot of Muslims that say, "Oh, we allowed to do it." What they did it for was a totally different reason. It was economics. Just imagine if you had 9 people up in your house, like Mexicans. Everybody got a job. That mean everybody got a car. That mean the kids want for nothing. You got the flies Gucci on and all of that. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? So that right there is polygamy. And you also got to understand it truly take a village, you know what I mean, to raise a child. So imagine how many resources and how many different points of view and lives and experiences that you can put down to one person. Imagine what they get from that. So I'm not saying that that's for everybody or that's something that you need to look into, but this is where we come from. Um, what you think about polygamy, Jojo? You think you
Polyg-
for it or you against it?
I'm actually against it, but it's practiced here today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people probably don't want to admit to it, and they disagree with it. How many people in this chat disagree with polygamy?
Right.
Let's see that. Let's get a poll going in here. Any males in here?
Right. I bet most
How
of them
many
be ugly.
disagree and agree? And so you're going to get a firm understanding on how we're thinking as a people right here today,
Right.
tonight, brother.
Right. So let me hit you another little ditty that I looked up so you don't have to. Did you know that marriage is a culture? It's a cultural event, not a ceremony. You know the difference between a cultural event and a ceremony. A ceremony is like when you paying for all of this. You know you got to drink the wine, eat the cracker. You know what I'm saying, and all of that. You know this was a cultural event, meaning when you grow up, they was grooming you from the moment that you was little to become married. You was going to get married because this is a cultural event. And did you know? You know most black women they're the least married in America right now. You know what I mean? And is that because we're under Western culture right now? What do you think about that, Joe?
I think you're absolutely right, but it's a lot of people look at marriage as a business because we've been taught that. And I'm pretty sure I can get people to agree for as in they marriage now, they look at it as a business aspect, business principles.
Mm,
You are a business. You should run yourself as such.
right,
So, to look at that in its full totality, the whole structure of what it used to be has been lost somewhere.
right,
And for you to identify that is strange because I guarantee you what you just said, people wasn't looking at it in that vein.
right.
But
So,
I think they looking at marriage as a business right now. That's why you got so many, the divorce rate is high right now
right.
because the business went wrong somewhere down the line.
But
Somebody wasn't
uh,
pulling their weight,
go
they
ahead, King.
dropped the ball on their side of the business.
But I watch these YouTube casts and these bloggers and everybody talking about marriage as a business. But that take away from the love, man. Love got to be the start. It does exist. You know what I mean? To have a best friend that you can spend the rest of your life with, man, that means a lot more than with all this frivolous. You know what I mean? This money, cars, and bags, and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't understand that till they get old. You know what I mean? And then it's too late. When you 70 and you in a rocking chair by yourself, goddamn it, and you mad as hell because the other side of the bed cold, shit, it's too late. Nothing you can do. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, yeah, because see, when as you at that age and that stage, you start reflecting, and that's all you really have the time to do. So when the business go wrong, and that aspect of love, see, love is an emotion,
Hmm.
and I don't agree with just being in love. This is that person lovable. See, because if she's lovable, you're gonna be with that person unconditional.
Hmm.
It's just not that emotion. It's a feeling you get. It's something that's inside of you. It's something that grows within you and that individual. So love is just an emotion.
Mm-mm.
Emotion should lead you to logic. And logically thinking, if that person is lovable, you can get through a whole lot of things.
So let me ask y'all a question about this. I believe slavery has an effect on our marriage and our family structure. I believe it has one of the biggest effects on our marriage and family structure. And let me explain why, if you don't mind. If you don't mind, um, imagine, like I said earlier, a woman getting beat, raped, and they look at that man for help, and that man does nothing. You know what I mean? And they're like, you should die for you. But shit, me personally, I'd be like, why didn't you kill yourself, damn it, before he did it? I ain't gonna die for you, the fuck? And then you gonna go and hit off the master and the other studs, and I die for nothing. That's just me. That's my opinion. I
Well,
apologize.
see, I totally disagree because here's why. When you in that situation, you and me at this point could say what we done did, but it's because we was taught it. But
Mm-hmm.
back then, there's no way you going up against what you consider an army and you feel defenseless. They
Right.
actually used to rape the woman in front of them.
Right.
Yeah,
So let me ask you this
that's
though.
a fight
Let
fly. Go ahead.
let's go on the black men's side because the black women, we sympathize with the black woman total in totality. I believe we all here could say that we feel bad for what happened to the black woman, and I wish that they didn't have to go through this. But do you understand that the effects, if we all died for the sanctity of you, there would be no black people left. You know what I mean? Like, do you know how hard it is to be a man that get done dirty outside? You know what I mean? By cops, by any merchants, by the world. Basically, we are the most hated by everyone. So when we go outside and then we come back home, we expect, somebody to treat us like kings. You know what I mean? And I understand fully that a female wants a man to treat her like a queen, and a female deserves all of that. But you're also responsible for who you pick. A lot of you females pick people that you shouldn't pick, and then you blame the whole male society about that. Do you agree with that, Jordan?
I agree with it, but we got to go back to the root of it.
Yeah.
Like you said, that woman looked at that male as a protector. And
Right.
when that situation came about, when he couldn't do anything to protect her, that's something deeply psychologically rooted in that individual. And it's been passed down after generation after generation after generation. And they become more subversive how they change it up. I mean, they got all kind of ways of making that woman think that black male ain't shit. And y'all ladies know it. Because how many times have y'all females said, man, you ain't shit.
Mm.
F you, blankety blank, Negro.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all just been passed down. Some psychologically rooted in all of us. Not just the females, but males too. Because how you think that male felt when he felt powerless to not be able to do anything? Yeah, you got
See,
to deal with it psychologically. And it's so unfortunate that it's been passed down to the day. I see it being practiced today.
mm-hmm.
And they got all kinds of ways of putting it out there. Well, they're doing it right on our nose and we don't even see it and realize. Case in point, you can look at housewives or whatever city you want to call it. Look at
Yeah.
the behavior there. That's nothing we was taught
Right.
as a culture, as black melanated people. No, that's something that they taught us.
Let me ask you this, chat.
Find yourself acting out like that.
Right.
Unbeknownst to their understanding. Males too.
Let me ask you this, chat. With black people getting separated, right? You know what I mean? Like the family unit as a slave. They sell your mama over here, your sister over here, your uncle over here. Now they done this for generations, as long as slavery lasted. Do you think that psychologically makes you feel less for family, being the fact that your grandpa probably don't know what a full family is, his grandpa probably don't, and so on and so on? Do you believe that's a psychological thing that's in us that we gotta break? Like, one in the chat for yes, two for no, if you don't mind.
Well, if you asking me to answer that,
Yeah.
yes, it plays a psychological effect. It has a psychological effect on it. We just don't know how much and how great, but it does.
Right. So, and then we also got to deal with the Willie Lynch letters, man. It says, like, a lot of people argue with this. I heard Farrakhan say that the Willie Lynch letters are fake, but man, if they fake, man, it was written by a damn genius, man. A goddamn wizard, man. That nigga, I mean, shit, like, he knew it all. Like, everything that letter say to a T is the problem with the black society today. Let me just take this one little part, man. I think it said somewhere in the Willie Lynch letters to separate the woman from the man and make her feel unprotected. Man, if that ain't the problem between the black woman and the black man today. And it also say make the daughters, separate the daughters from the male. So we're just separating women from men. And then we have this whole Me Too movement where we're having women fighting men. And in 2021, we have a women versus man damn competition. Like, everybody trying to be the top of the pile. Nobody wants to bow down to no one. A man don't want to bow down to a woman. A woman don't want to bow down to a man. I mean, when and how does this end is the question.
Learn behavior. Now to go back to that Willie Lynch letter,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know whether to believe it or not. But what I can say is that I read it, and the behavior and the activity adds up because it's evident. Just look at it, what's wrote in the context of it, and look at the behavior. That's how you gauge it. How accurate is it?
Hmm.
When you read that and then you're seeing the behavior on it, I mean, well, if it's fake or not, like you said, somebody hit this nail on the head somewhere.
Right.
Now, question is, how did they do that? How did they sit back and study us to the point where they wrote it down in context? And it's still prevalent today.
Facts. Facts on facts.
Amazing.
Yeah. So then once we
The
get out of
audacity of it, I don't try to question that. I'm looking at what's behind it and is it going on today? The evidence.
right. You got young versus old, light versus dark, and that's real prevalent now. When I was younger, I didn't see young versus old and light versus dark. But nowadays, like if you too light, you can't be in. If you too dark, you can't be in. This person think you better than the other, and it's a mess. And then we get down to the Jim Crow. Once we get down to the Jim Crow, we still getting treated like animals. Now you hear all these people talking that anecdotal evidence, like I was saying, talking about how great Jim Crow was, and you know why they thought it was great, because they was finally getting some money from slavery, where you had no trades to go get a job, and you had no choice but to be a sharecropper. Now we have to circulate that black dollar in the black community. You have no choice because you can't buy it from the white man. So you got some black people having some affluent jobs, but how is that family structure? You still getting treated like a damn animal. A black man whistles at a woman and gets beat to a potato. And I ain't saying that to be funny, man. He looked like an actual potato just by whistling. You know what I mean? You have no power. And if that man wants to do something to your woman, what are you gonna do about it? And she knows it. So how's she gonna feel about you? And on top of that, you got everybody running for different power plays, because now we got white people that do music that's trying to act black. We got light-skinned blacks that are super light and bright trying to be white because there's more of a bag involved. How does that make you feel? The black family is full of color. You can have a blue black man and an albino in the same family. You know what I mean? So how's that family structure? But go ahead.
You said a lot there. Let me unpack one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
You said black dollars are being circulated in the black community.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't saw it
Mm.
because the minute we get any money in our pocket, and I'm guilty of this, we're going to spend our money with Europeans. And let's tell the truth here, people. You know that. How many of y'all have designer clothes on right now as we speak?
Mm.
Might even have on a designer pair of panties. Real talk. But black folks don't have any industry. Name one industry that blacks have that they can say is their own.
Mm. None.
Give me some.
we
Yeah.
all we all slaves on the
And I don't want to
plantation.
hear music
Right.
because you see they've taken that and flipped it and remixed it. So you don't own that. It's
Mm-hmm.
always you have to go back to them so that recycling black dollar in the neighborhood and to have, well, say for instance, you got a service station, a gas station. I've heard, well, it's privately black owned. It's not privately black owned because who did you go to get the loan from it?
Mm-hmm.
To
Right.
have that filler station, as they used to call it. So black dollar is not being recycled. It's been said that in order for black dollar to grow, it has to recycle at least 8 times
Mm.
from black hand to another black hand. The Chinese, it recycles 3 times because they keep their money within the community. If you can see it, you look at any Chinaman and these business that they have, they spend their dollar. They got a whole section here in Houston. That that's all you see
Mm.
because they dollar recycle. We send our money, we spend money over everywhere. You're buying the hair, the Malaysian hair. Y'all, come on, y'all know I'm not telling a lie here. That's not recycling black dollar.
Right. And
But I just
you
want to unpack that one
right.
top when you said that. That wrong there. Black dollar being recycled. Shit, what?
Mm. And why people like buying off of them Chinese? They love buying something from Asia because it's cheap, man. Shoot, we won't buy of each other. Like, when the last time you bought something black? You know what I mean? And then when you buy something black, you feel like you need a discount on it.
You need the
And
discount.
mm-hmm.
You need the discount.
Right. So I mean, shoot. Even when you do buy black, how long do you think it stays in the black community? Once you pay that brother, he probably going right to the white man to pay it.
That's what I'm saying. It needs to recycle at least 8 times.
Right. That's a fact
Dr.
right there.
Claude Anderson taught us that.
Mm-hmm. But JoJo, it's about that time, bro. We at
Let's
the
get into it.
halfway mark, and this is a promotion of my own music. My album's called God. Like, everything is on the screen that's about to come, and I hope you enjoy this because you know I work really hard at what I do. So here you go.
Has really been a lot of fun. This is so unrighteous. This is so not like us.
Now I'm up, can't keep me down. Had to cut some people off, but I made it out. And I'm better, got my bread up, count this paper. They didn't believe I would be ballin' like the bird J. Don't run up on me if you dumb, you catch the AK. I'm just tryna do my thing in my own lane. Been in the game for a minute, little man. I started off north side, poor, feeling my pain. When niggas would knock on your door to sell you a chain. With government cheese was good in the hood, it's a thing. Up in them project hallways where them niggas was slain. Up in them fucking light fixtures, we be watching them swing. And now this type of shit happen every day. We leave you pump with the pump, leave you slumped, it's a shame. It's just part of the game, call bitch like it's part of your name. I was a kid, parents sent me on my way. I seen police in the hood like every single day, and I couldn't do shit, so at night I lay. And then I got a little bigger, and at night I straight. And I really didn't listen what my parents had to say, so I bought a little gun, I dumped it, threw it away. I'm too bad for my fam, I need a place to stay. Now I'm up, can't keep me down. Had to cut some people off, but I made it out. And I'm better, got my bread up, count this paper. They didn't believe I would be ballin' like the bird J. Don't run up on me if you dumb, you catch the AK. I'm just tryna do my thing in my own lane. All my hoes buy my clothes, they come off the top shelf. I just caught me around that thing, park itself. I spent $500 on what is that felt, and I can cop what I want, cause I buy it myself. And if these niggas wanna hate, I knock them off of the shelf. And they will never catch me slipping, I like block on my health. And when I was broke, I could die, that's the way that I felt. And all my friends fake as fuck, I ride by myself. And when it's time to buy myself, you didn't fuck with me when I was broke, don't ask for my help. And now I'm all up in the game, I'm ballin' LeBron James. $1 million a game, my head big from fame. I spit like a flamethrower, hope you're feeling the pain. I'm trying not to get killed by a nigga that's lame. And even though life's a thrill, it's a dangerous game. I've been in it for a minute, as long as the Lions man, yeah. Now I'm up, can't keep me down. Had to cut some people off, but I made it out. And I'm better, got my bread up, count this paper. They didn't believe I would be ballin' like the bird J. Don't run up on me if you dumb, you catch the AK. I'm just tryna do my thing in my own lane.
That was My Own Lane by Rome the Great. Please say the Great. If you interested in listening to songs such as that stature, that would be on Spotify, Apple Music, or all major platforms. That's Rome the Great, all one word. Thank you very much. Continue, JoJo.
Well, no, as we left off, as far as when we was trying to unpack all that you said, I just wanted to touch on that aspect of black dollar, recycling black dollar. And you know, we haven't done that. It haven't been demonstrated for us. I can see. Have you seen it being demonstrated?
No, I try my best to buy black. I really do. And then even when you do try to buy black, sometimes it just doesn't work out when you really want it to, you know. But even like I said, even when you do buy black, they go right out and you know buy because everything's made overseas in Europe. Like you know, it's either in Asia or Europe, all the good stuff. You know what I mean? So we got to start making quality products, and we got to start advertising. You know what I mean? To really make that money push. And then once we see somebody with quality products and they advertising good, we got to support them to the utmost.
Right. I agree with that.
Right. But I'm gonna move on to this one story I got for y'all. Once again, I did the research, so you don't have to. You welcome. This is called the rape of Reese Taylor. I apologize. The way I tell this story, there's nothing funny about rape, and there's nothing funny about the tragedy that happened to our black people. This story takes place by during Jim Crow period. All right. So there's this woman named Reese Taylor. She was in Alabama, right? And this is during the Jim Crow time. So we got white men coming up to people's houses in the South. Now I'm talking about white men with shotguns. You know, they coming up there like, we gonna get what you want. So they go knock on the door. It wasn't Reese's door, but it was Sam and Angie Jurgen. They knock on the door like, we gonna take your daughters. Nothing you could do with it. We got the shotgun with the pump. They like, oh hell no. They like, Satan, get behind me. Hit them with the holy water, all that. Hit them, beat them with the broom. They go gone. But they ain't quitting though. So they bending corners in the car like, skirt. They ain't worried about none of that. They like, we gonna get something today, because at that time they felt like a black woman's body wasn't her own. So they went and looking for a black girl. So they found Reese. Reese was coming home from church, and you know their church back then down south, that was letting out at night. It'd be dark. You know what I mean? So they went up to her, put the gun to her head. Now there's black people there. They looking. You know what I mean? So what are they doing? There's men there, there's women there. Like, this is a church like event, you know what I mean? But these white boys got these pistols, you know, they got these shotguns, they put them to their head. So they telling her to go with the white boys, which, you know, that's crazy to me, but that's what they did. They're like, if she just go, maybe they'll do what they want to do and then go on. So they take her, right, blindfold her. They go in the car, they driving, they go to the woods somewhere. She has no idea where she at. They take her out. They tell her what they about to do to her. You know what I mean? She don't fight. She don't scream, she don't yell. The reason why she don't do this is because she know the nature of these people. You know what I mean? So she let them do what they do. You know, they take turns. They try to spread their love all up in her, you know, acting crazy. But then they want to be like sympathetic, like they nice. Like they asking her, like, is you ready? And this, that. Not knowing that you taking something that wasn't given. You know what I mean? Like, that is scarring mentally for life. This woman, she had a kid, you know what I mean, before this. And after this, she never had a kid again. Like, you know what I mean? Because, you know, they like to mutilate and try to play with the black body. It's disgusting. So, you know, after they done, they put her in the car, they blindfold her again, they drive her off, they give her money. You know what I mean? And I don't know if she took the money or didn't, but this is, you know, what was recorded. You know, they're going to record his story the way that he wanted recorded. You know what I mean? So I believe they gave her the money to make it seem like she was a prostitute, but she coming from church. Everybody in the neighborhood know that it wasn't no prostitute, and everybody in the neighborhood know what happened because they seen it happen, right? So she comes home, she's crying, her husband there. She can't even tell her husband what's going on, you know, grabbing up her husband, just crying. He like, what wrong? What's wrong? She don't even tell nothing, but her brother knows. She got a brother. So her brother go around town looking for some justice. You know what I'm talking about? That real justice. But he can't say it like that. You know what I mean? Because if he talk about it like out in the public, they're going to peel back his cap immediately. So he just asking like where Tom and John is, you know, let me know. They trying to be on the low and everything. You know what I mean? So they call the police. The police actually show up. You know what I mean? Everybody knew one of the boys had a green Chevy. You know what I mean? So they look for the dude in the green Chevy, and they have Reese come to the car. Is this the dude that did it to you? She like, yeah. You know what I mean? He talking about, I ain't never seen that chick in her life. See, everybody in the family knew he was lying because he lived like 3 doors down. You done seen this chick before. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to do a little investigation, but you know, at the end of the day, they're not letting the good old boys go to jail. So they're trying every sort of deflection. They're deflecting here, deflecting there. Nobody's going to court. Nobody nothing. See, but the black people ain't with it. They had enough of this, you know what I mean? So they trying to find a way to get some evidence. So they getting investigators. And guess who one of the investigators was? Y'all ain't gonna believe it. It was Rosa Parks. Now, y'all was taught in your history books that Rosa Parks didn't do nothing but sit on the bus. And then people make fun of her, like our own people talking about, oh yeah, she just lazy. She didn't want to get up. Rosa Parks was an investigator to try to find out what happened to this woman, who raped her, and she wanted to get justice for her people. So Rosa Parks goes in there, right? You know, she start taking notes. Who was it? What'd he do? Where is he at? What he look like? Where were you? Then good old Sheriff Buck come in there like, no, you gonna have to get out of here. We ain't playing none of that niggardry right there. Throws her out. She falls down. Rosa Parks about that life. She get up. She leave. But it's like Debo. He got mind control over, but when he leaves, she gonna talk again. So she come back like a week later, you know what I mean? Take down more notes. Who was it? Who he did? Yeah, I know. Tell me all that. Sheriff come back again. I told you, get the hell out of here, and next time I'm gonna kill you. So the sheriff grabbed her. They had 3 steps. You know, one of them ranch houses with the little 3 steps. But if you go over here, like grandma's house, you know, you can get pulled and fall off the little ledge. So the sheriff grabs her up, snatches her down. She scrape up all her knees. She's hurt up. But do you think that she was scared? No. Was she surprised? No. Did she cry? No. You know why? Because she knew that they was Vikings and beasts before they came here, and they've been doing this shit since the indoctrination of black people in this country. So she expected that shit happen. So she left again. She comes back. This time she's like, I'm gonna take you. So she takes her out the city, somewhere in Birmingham, Alabama, I believe. The cops can't find her and none of that. She takes all the statement, gets all the evidence. And at the end of the day, it still does not leave in a conviction. But what happens is these white people that did it, and there was 6 of them. These white people that did it, they went to the army. One got caught in Korea. He became a war hero. He came back. The others, they died in a tragic, horrific death due to the military. And you know, our father Dick Gregory told us that every natural disaster was named after a black woman because that's karma. Now, in this time, I believe karma's name was Reese Taylor.
Huh.
So, can you expound on that, JoJo?
You know, to bring up Dick Gregory, I guess that's why the name Hurricane comes from. Hurricane. But to hear that story, that horrific story, this is what I'm looking at it in a functional sense. How many blacks sat around and saw that?
Mm,
See, I'm gonna show you about that power structure that I always speak of. You don't think it was no black seeing this heinous act being created on this sister that we call. They sat around and watched that. Now that was a horrific story, you guys. She went through a whole lot of ordeals. Where was the people in that town?
right.
Was it lack thereof people? Black people that sat there and let that woman go through that? No. So they know their places. We know our places. See, it's been done and demonstrated on these YouTube streets as we speak. We know who to buck up to and who not to buck up to. So that is passed down. It's passed down. Because if we were such a strong group of men, we wouldn't have tolerated it then, or we would tolerate it now. No. Mm-mm. That's my only expansion towards that story.
Right.
It's passed down.
So the way that
See,
ties, go ahead, bro.
you see behavior now. Sad story.
Right. So
Learn behavior from our male because we didn't do nothing back then. And 9 times out of 10, if we saw it today, we would do it. But record it and put it on some social media. So, yeah,
so the reason why I told that story during the fact black family structure is how can we expect our woman to respect us? This is a question I can't answer, but I know there has to be some structure. I know there has to be an agreement. But after a woman gets done that dirty, and she has a husband, and she has a brother, and she has a father, and nothing happens to these assailants, and she can't even get justice from her country, from her state, from her local municipality, she gets no justice. How can she come underneath us? These are questions that we got to answer as men. But we also have to understand that men are beat down as well, psychologically stripped of
that's what
everything.
I've been saying.
And this ain't by accident. This is part of that whole plan. They planned this from the time that they
The
took us
system.
from the culture. So the key to all of this is to go back to culture, go back to a beginning, go back to where it started from. We got to find something common to teach our kids. It starts with our kids. It starts with parenting. Imagine what the crack era did to black families. You think? Do you think that was an accident? Well, I know you can talk about that, JoJo. Go ahead. Tell these people about the
It
Reagan
was
era,
designed. It was, what was that again? That last statement you made?
the Reagan crack era, what it did to black people.
First of all, it was set up and brought in to destroy in black families as a whole.
Hmm.
Because, you look at the person that's selling the crack and the drugs. Well, they didn't manufacture those drugs. Those drugs are placed here. And a lot of people say by the sound of my voice, well, we know that. Well, it shouldn't have been here in the first place. So they just dumped it out in the black communities because they know 9 times out of 10, these people have studied us. Black folks are always looking for something new to do, something new to try. I don't care what it is. They know we are their guinea pig. They throw anything at us and we'll try. But what black folks fail to realize, what they all they have to do is ask themselves, how is this an improvement? It's that simple. For me using it or not using it. How is it going to be an improvement to me if I use it? So
Right.
that whole thing for us, that Reagan era, yeah, that was systematically designed. And
Right.
then you had what was it? What they came back with was that Reagan that did it. The fight on the war on drugs. Was
Yep.
he behind that?
Yep.
Yeah. You create a problem and come back and try to solve
Right.
it. And
But
it's a turn.
you don't
You
believe
know,
that that was on purpose, being the fact that they put drugs in the black community for the black
absolutely, it
people to
was
sell it, and then they come around with the war on drugs to lock them up. Like, nobody.
exactly system.
And they
Put
admit the crazy thing is they admit that they did it to fund the Contra war. So they're
yeah,
telling you the government did this to you, and you still trust your government.
exactly. They create the problem and come in and fix it. But at the same time, it's strengthening what? Their system. They fund walls. They build a prison industrial system behind all of this. It's a revolving door. One hand washes the other.
Nisimo, you're correct. That movie Kill the Messenger. I would recommend that for those who didn't see. That's definitely a story about Freeway Ricky Ross getting caught up, and we had what would you call that? A reporter trying to clear his name. But these are all facts, and people don't. And eugenics. Like, do black people know what eugenics is? Do you know that they were capturing black people and like tearing out their internals so they can't have babies and putting them in crazy houses? You know what I mean? All in the structure of white supremacy. Like, do y'all know that? Like, you know what I mean? Tuskegee. These are all like examples of how they take us down systematically. I mean, it's crazy. Like, and but people still trust their government. And when I speak like this, people say it's conspiracy theory, but it's proof. You can look it up. They admit it, and you still don't believe it.
It's a system. I keep saying it. It's a system. And I don't want to sound redundant when I say that. But this system is so systematically set up to confuse you, you don't know what you're looking at. And I used to ask that question all the time. Do we understand what we're looking at? 9 areas, 9 areas of people activity. Those 9 areas being economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. They dominate and control those 9 areas of people activity.
Right.
So they have all kind of ways of manipulating it and make you think you winning.
Right. So what do you think is the best thing you can do for the black family? My opinion, I'll start with mine first. My opinion is have black children. Having black children is the most important and the first thing to do to, progress the black family. What is yours?
For the black family structure,
Yeah, like how do we progress as black people? What's the most important thing you can do to
as
progress?
a family, and
Yes.
this is going to sound funny, stay away from other black folks.
Oh shit.
No, but seriously, it starts in the household.
Yes.
Because see, typically right now we have social media teaching the child,
Right.
and it's running amok amongst the community.
Right. And
It's no family. You know what? It would amaze me to know how many families sit down as a family at the dinner table.
facts. Not enough.
Yeah, it's the basic, simple things.
We would be remiss not to mention the welfare system. Now, you got this welfare system in place. It's giving women that were from poverty a way to make it, so to speak. So they don't need a man, and a man can't be in the house, or you're not going to get these these monies. So you got this welfare system, and that's not going to help the woman. Respect the man in any way, shape, or form. I don't need you. I don't need you, and that's true. You don't need him, but the family needs him. To be successful in the future, it needs him. I understand that you probably don't want to come to grips to this, but it's going to take two to raise a child the correct way. You can do it by yourself because in some semblance of the form, it's not your fault. You can't control if that man gonna be there. You can't control if somebody died. You know what I mean? So in no way, shape, or form is anybody trying to put the blame on the black woman to that extent. But at the end of the day, if you can have something to do with it, if you can change your attitude or bend in some type of way to make sure that child has two parents, man, it can't do nothing but be better than be negative. What do you think, Jojo?
I agree with that because here you have to ask yourself, far as how this culture has taught us as a collective group, how many women would really give you an explanation of what they expect from a man besides protection.
Right,
Protection is it's a whole lot of things goes on in protection. So you have to be very specific with these women in general to give a clear definition on what is protection to you.
right,
And that would be very interesting for a woman to break that down on what do she feel and where do she feel and when does she feel she's protected.
right. But
Because
then,
that protection is gonna be something else. We gotta put all these things in one think tank and come up with the solution. And the first thing you gotta go to that female and find out the psyche of her and the lack thereof, what she considers protection.
right. So, well, yeah, that is a great question. What is protection? Because at the end of the day, there's only so much that you can do to a system. You know what I mean? A system that overpowers you in every way, shape, or form. So, what is protection? We can beat each other. If a black dude step out of line, we could whoop his ass. But don't
That's
let the
permitted.
yeah don't let the cop act the fool. What we gonna do then? You know what I
That is
mean?
permitted.
Right.
So that's a question I would love one day for some female to come up and explain exactly what that is and what do she feels make her feel protected.
Right.
Because me and you could go back and forth with this all day, all night.
Right.
But what we come up with protection is, it's not what she's thinking protection is. There's been a lot of divorces over she felt the man can't protect her. I'm not talking about just physically.
Mm.
Protection probably runs all kind of ways, mentally, and I ain't gonna go into any other thing because I'm just saying from my standpoint, yeah,
Right.
that's gonna have to be a question posed to a female.
Right. But everything finances in 2021.
Yeah,
you know and if they can get a job because they're getting welfare, they're getting affirmative action, they're getting placed in better jobs than black men because black men are more threatening, and black men are getting punched in the face, and you're getting hired at the local firm. You know what I mean? When are you going to have some sympathy for the black man? We
well, but
all had. Go
let
ahead,
me
bro.
ask you this because that's I'm glad you're going there. How long does you think finances will work?
Right.
I mean, the evidence have shown it's not always about finance because you got millionaires divorce faster than somebody that's in poverty stricken.
Mm. And especially after you get your own finances, what can I do for you? Once a woman gets her own finances, she got the bag. What can I offer you now? Being the fact that we are all, under psychological warfare, being that we don't understand what is the greater good for each other, being the fact that we're under Willie Lynch 24/7. What can I do for you? That's a great question. If a woman has a bag, what can a man do? I would like to hear somebody's conversation from the chat. I'd like to hear somebody. I mean,
Yeah,
somebody.
because it comes to this point. What is he good for?
Right.
Because as you can see, they have already beat him down and told you he ain't blankety blank blank.
Hmm.
So what is he good to you for?
Right.
Because they beat him down. They beat him down and they beat him down. And I'm not saying some of these guys and males are not warranted of being talked about and scolded in that sense. But what is it that a black female wants from an African American man?
Right. And what could we do as black men to
To be
make you
better men.
right, or
You
make
got
you forgive us for what happened to our ancestors that we had no control over, if that makes any sense? Like, what could we do to get some sympathy from you instead of disdain? That's a great question.
And typically black men are crying out for help, but their ego is not going to show that. I've seen that being demonstrated a lot here of late.
Right.
Not to call any names, but all you got to do is look around. Us
Right.
cry out for help,
Right. And they're using
male
our
and female.
prized possessions against us. The black woman is our prized possession, but it's the same thing that's taking rich men down 24/7 in this country. A man gets a contract to play football. A woman comes, it's a domestic violence. A man's a great singer, gets a whole bunch of money. Women come, it's something else. Women are the downfall and the upbringing of men at the same time. I mean, it's a conundrum. I mean, it's like, who designed this? This had to be designed in some shape, some way, some form, some fashion, and
Is
that's a
that
fact.
some kind of shape form of Adam and Eve?
Right? And that's a whole nother show. We can hit that one up. But I mean, throughout the welfare system, throughout slavery, throughout Jim Crow, throughout all these methods. The reason why we brought all these up is because we believe that this is what brought us to the family structure demise of the black family. And until we can find some way, some form, some fashion to get our culture back, to get into agreements, to form in unity, to raise our children with good values and not the culture that the other community that makes movies and music wants us to go to. Because if you really think about it, all our kids are controlled by music and movies. If they see something in a movie, they believe that's what it's supposed to be. If they tell them that this is a good song, they're going to believe it's a good song. If they believe that this is a good movie and everybody's saying it's a good movie, they're going to do it. So that is black culture. Like it or love it. You know what I mean? That's what it is. So until we make our own culture, until we get in control of these things that we know are taking care of our kids, until we know is destroying us at a whole, until we get to that point, what are we going to do? But talk about it.
And when you're looking at it from that standpoint, to simplify that, it's productive and non-productive. It's nothing in between.
Right.
So when they throw all these things out, all of these new ideas for us to go try, which we typically do,
Mm-hmm.
you just weigh it. Is it productive or non-productive?
Right. And we got to teach them what productive is, the definition of productive. We got to teach them what non-productive is, because I don't even
Right.
think that they know. But we hit our hour mark. This show is an hour. And
Yes, indeed.
next Sunday, we'll be coming at you at the same great time with an even better show. This was our first show. And I want to thank each and every one of y'all for being here, because we could not do it without you. So next show, next Sunday, 8 p.m., please be there, because we there. So I got a nice little outro. Please just don't kick out, because I spent a lot of time doing this. Please watch. Please like. Please share. Please subscribe. And I want to thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. JoJo?
I want to thank everybody that came out tonight and trust and believe. This thing is just getting started. We got a lot of special things planned for y'all. We just getting our feet wet in this shit, man. So y'all stay tuned. We're going to knock it straight out the box, man. But I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for coming out, and none but love to y'all. Thank you once again.
Thanks. Thank you.
And there's a lot of truth to be revealed tonight.
Part of what has happened is that you can do those things that make the race look like a jump because there's no penalty.
And everything that the white man sells, he sells it under the number 6. He sells it under sex.
It's a systematic attempt to exterminate a people.
Speak on it, you know where you at. It's when knowledge flow free, so sit down and relax. I said, speak on it, you know what it is. And if you're coming fugazi, then it is what it is. I said, they back. We some brothers with opinions, this ain't based on no fact. I'm guaranteed to drop bombs on any base that you at. You think that you beating us now, but we rallying back. I only got so much time because the salary cap. We got stories of glory, yeah, black people making it. We here to feed the people, so don't be ashamed to take the shit. We ain't like the others that get on TV and fake the shit. I don't snake the people, I cut their heads off of snakes and shit. Ancestor energy here to form a relationship, to talk about a problem so we can really go face the shit. We don't have to suffer, we can go ahead and erase the shit. It smell like good home cooking and we can taste the shit. Come on in, like, share, subscribe.